Good morning. Today we're going to be looking at how we can actually do some of the basic stuff within the Master The Mainframe contest. And this will be a great resource specifically for how you can participate and work with the Master The Mainframe contest. We've got a cute little meme over here on the left so we can see, hey, we're hacking Mainframe doing a big hack friend. We must find out who the good boy is because cute little puppies go tip-tap and they find out what we're doing. But we want to actually say what we can do with this. So I'm using the TN3270 emulator. I'm using a Mac right here. And so we're going to get started with using the basics for that, making sure the settings are set up. Now, whenever you're doing this different years, they'll have different IP addresses to have that happen. But the host name is the big thing you want to make sure you have. Specifically, you want to connect to the IP address, the actual server or mainframe you're talking to. The window title doesn't matter, but I like giving it one that makes sense. In this case, Master Mainframe 2019. We then want to go to our screen format. In our screen format, the first thing we have is our screen settings. I like to have my font bigger because I'm working with the display and working with students, making sure they can understand what we're going on and how we're doing it. And so I have my font size, the largest font size available on the 24/80 and 14 right there as well for that. On the model screen size, I choose Model 4 for a nice big screen. And I go ahead and say OK. Now, as you can see right here, I'm going to move this over here to the side so we can see what's going on. So we have our ZOS login screen. Before I get started, I want to go over a couple things that we can work with and basic tools we're going to use. So the first thing we have is when I'm using this in a Mac, I like to use the command key to make something happen. So command and the numbers 1 through 9 to do the command sequences for that. However, if I have to do any of the other sequences to do that, I go up here to the FKeys section and I can access the FKeys that go for, especially for F10, F11, and I want to use the F12, I can use that. Or if I need to use the reset or insert mode or clear, using those features right there, that's where we're going to have that happen. So that's under here in the FKeys drop-down menu. We've got that right there. Now, one of the things I found to be really helpful is I can make it so I have a cursor so it's a lot more visible so you can see where I am on the screen. And to do so, I'm just going to go up here into the sessions drop-down. I'm going to go ahead and go to the miscellaneous section. And in the session of the miscellaneous, I go right here and I choose it to the block instead of the underscore. So I can really see it quite visibly right there. And you can also change your beep sounds if you want. That's not really the biggest deal, but we want to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to say OK, boom. Now I have my cursor right here. Now again, we use the tab key to operate between the screens. As you can see, I can get right here. And for the login, we have to make sure we're under that TSO section. And then type in the logon command. And then my Z number. Now your Z number is going to be dependent on you, your person. So you want to make sure you type in your Z number for that. And press enter. Brings us the new option to enter our password. So you type your password in. And as you can see, the password is masked. It doesn't show it. Your password, though, should be easy to remember. This is really important. You don't want to make this thing ridiculous. So use some good password structures, but it has to be 8 characters or less. So keep that in mind. Now, at the login screen, this is really important. We can get to specific components within the screen. You can do some really cool stuff. So if you want to go to a specific area of the ZOS system, you can specify it actually right here on this screen. But the really important thing that I want to address is the S in front of reconnect. Now, if you accidentally disconnect improperly, you're going to have to reconnect back on, which leads us to our lover meme right there. One, does that simply just get off a 20-year-old mainframe? I know it's an old meme, but it's very accurate. And so we have to make sure that when we log off or if we disconnect incorrectly, that we log on correctly with a reconnect. So I'm just leaving that by default right here automatically with that reconnect in. Now, if for some bizarre reason you do want to change your password, you would tab over here to this section. And again, your tab key is really great. So even if I click right here, and that's not the right spot, I can just tab to it and get to that spot right there. And I can also go Shift Tab to go backwards through things. So Tab goes forward through it, Shift Tab goes backwards through it, and I can automatically go to the correct space to type that. But that's where we're going to go. But I'm going to just go ahead and tab out of that. We'll go ahead and press Enter to get past that. Logging on. We've got no broadcast message. As you can see, it's a great thing. That means everything's going ready to go, and we can get in and go from there. We then have our information that we're logging on. Amazing stuff. And you notice we have to wait. We have that little X system. It means something's happening. We're waiting for something to happen. We have right here the 3 asterisks in a row, meaning, hey, it's time for us to wait. It's now, oh, the system's done. It's now ready for us to proceed. To proceed, it's the amazing power of the enter key press. Boom, we're going. The X with the clock down here means it's just going to take some time. It's processing that enter key press. Hey, wonderful. Now we're right here inside a regular menu. Now, this is something you want to make sure we can get to. You want to take right here in the other functions. This is where you're going to be able to get into the actual programs we're going to be using on a regular basis. The first one I want to make sure that we address is how to get into Unix, because we'll be using Unix on a regular basis inside the Master Mainframe system. And so to do that, as you can see right here, we just have the code U for Unix. And so I type in U and press Enter. And that brings me right here to the Unix system. Now, this is kind of like as if we were running a Unix server via telemetry right here. So I've got my hands way out here. I'm typing and going that. And then we're going to have it. So I type it down here in this section. It's going to send it to the console here and then execute on that part of the system. So let's try that out. So type in the amazing command of ls, and boom, ls appears up there. It runs, and I have inside there P1. Oh, okay, sweet. And so my P1 file is inside that directory. If I wanted to make a directory or do some cool stuff like that, I can make all the commands right here. And I can do ls space -a. And there's everything inside that. Look, there's the dot, the double dot, and my shell history, as well as P1. All that right inside there. Wonderful stuff. So I can see what's inside my directory using those commands. I can do all the basic stuff. I can make files. I can concatenate files. I can go ahead and type in time. Oops, date. There's my date right there. Had to remember the right term for that. I can direct things to files. We can do all that fun stuff right here. Regular Unix commands work. Now, if I want to leave this, it's really, really hard. I type in the magic keyword exit. The exit keyword will close the OVMS system. And then we can see down here in the bottom, it says the session is ended. Press enter to exit OVMS. Oh, okay, good. I'll press enter. Boom, I'm out. And it brings me right back here to my ISPF menu. Now, the ISPF menu is also the main system, but sometimes I need to do other options. If I want to leave this menu and then come back, I type in an X to exit. That will exit the actual screen of here and take me to the TSO ready prompt. So let's try that right now. So I'm going to type in an X and press enter. And oh, something's happened. It needs something to happen. And so I need to dispose my log set. And I want to choose option 2 for this. I want to delete my log set without printing because I don't need it. I never do. So I press 2 and enter. And boom. My log list has been deleted, and I'm at the ready prompt. Now, I can run commands from here. I can do all sorts of cool stuff from here. But I want to go back ahead and just get right back in ISPF. So I'm going to do that, ISPF. And that takes me right back into my ISPF menu right here. And we'll notice right here, when I log back into ISPF, it takes a couple minutes, and we have a little bit different section right here. You'll notice that U is not here. I can't get back into Unix from here. I'm not quite sure why. I'm going to look it up and figure it out eventually, but right now, not a big deal. Now, the big thing we have to do is we want to make sure we go through and we do things and use stuff inside the system. And so to do so, we're going to go ahead and we're going to browse through our structure. Now, one of the easiest ways to browse through that is the equals 3.4 command. So equals 3.4 takes us to the third menu and then the fourth menu and gets us to that screen, which is the dataset list utility, also available through dslist. Now, most often we're looking inside our data, and that's going to be right here inside the DS list with the Z system right there. So I press enter on that. And these are the directories that I have and the files I have access to through this data system. I can also command 3 and back out, which will take me back to the previous screen. So command 3 always takes me to my previous screen, so I can back out that. I can also go through, like I said, typing the word DS list, and then my Z number. And it takes me to that same spot. Oh, look, I'm inside my DS list for my Z number. And I've got that. I can look at that through there. I'm going to command 3 and back out. I can also go through it by typing in 3, enter, and then 4, enter. And then it takes me to that same spot where I can get that DS list and go in, and boom, there's all my files that are inside my thing. So I can backspace and get through that lots of ways. The big thing, though, to get back to a screen is command 3. And you also have, of course, the magic power of the FKeys, and you can go to PF3 that way too. But no, command 3 works best. Now, to browse through these things, I'm going to tab down. And as you can see, my cursor moves to where I'm going to, so I can tab down, and that's how I go through it. I can also use my arrow keys to move up and down through this. And if I really want to, I can use my cursor with my mouse and click on it and go through things. But the tab really works quite well. Now, to go inside something without changing it is just a B for browse. I browse inside that, and boom, I can see what's inside that directory. Again, to exit, command 3, back out. I can go up through here, and I can edit files with an E. When I edit, I can go in and I can make changes to files that are inside that. Now, I can look at a file with the S command just to show, and I can see what's inside that. I can command 3 and back out, or I can go back in here and E, edit the file, and now as you can see, I can edit that file. We can see what's going to happen with that. So we can make some changes inside that and go from there. Now, one of the things we really want to make sure we do is we want to see what happens when we run code and we have errors and how we can get around with that. And we do that with the SDST screen. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my JCL folder and see how I do that. So I'm going to back 3 out of here. I'm going to go inside my JCL folder. I'm going to E that. I'm going to tab down. I'm going to make it a sample JCL file, my demo JCL, and E that. And so I have a demo JCL file right here where I want to go ahead and I want to have a job right here. And I have it right. I have a sorting, and I want to have it take the Potter from the PDS data directory and the partitions data set, and I want to take that and put that inside the sample directory. So I'm going to try and run this code and have it happen so we can see what happens. So I've got this code. It's in my JCL folder, and to submit it, I can do it a couple different ways. The most common way is type in sub right here, and then I can do semicolon and equals sd.st, which means it's first going to submit the code, and then it's going to take me to the ST window where I can actually run information on that and see what's going on with that job system. So let's do that right now. Another way to do that is I can just type in sub in the wait, then go back and go to the ST window manually. And so I can have that happen. I'm going to press enter and demo from that. My job has been submitted, so I press the enter key to go past that. And I'm going to tab down here, and it's always going to be the last job on the list. And to look at a job inside the ST screen, we type in the question mark, and that looks inside it. And I'm going to back out. And so I have my last job that just ran right here. And to look inside a job, we go to that. I do the question mark to look inside. So I'm going to ask questions about that job, what's going on with it. So I question it inside the NP column. I press enter. And so I have my information right here. So I'm going to tab down to this. And I'm going to look inside the sys out. And I'm going to S that to show that file. And oh, there's a syntax error. Uh-oh. And so it says the syntax error is on the sort fields line. And so I have 12CHD. Okay, so let's go ahead and we have to take a look. We have to fix that error. So I can Command 3 and I can back out all the way. So I can just Command 3 and back out one screen, Command 3 back out another screen. Or from any command point, I can simply write right here, and I can type in equals 3.4 to take me back to the dslist directory, so I can choose that. Or I can also type in dslist space JCL, which will take me to the JCL folder, which has the files inside that. So I'll dslist JCL from here. Boom. Takes me right to JCL. I'm going to tab in here, E, and look at that. And I'm going to go back to my demo JCL file, and we're going to E that. And it says I have something right here. It says the error is on sort fields. Okay, so we have right here, we have our structure on this. I want to sort something and I have an input file, which is in my PDS data. It's called a Potter. I have an output file. I want to put it in my sample, my P2 output directory. And sort fields. Okay, so sort doesn't work. Now, to figure that out, we have the magic power of tools to feature how we can fix that. But it said it's on this thing, and so sort fields. And we're looking with this. This is where the error is happening. What's missing is I'm missing an equal sign. I need to tell what fields I'm sorting. So I'm going to go ahead and just right here, I'm going to retype the whole line. It tends to be the best way to make that happen. So just space in. I'm going to do sort, and then fields, and then equals, and then parens, and then 1, 2, CH for character structure, and A for ascending. And we should see that happen. And I'm going to hit save. Okay, so I save that. As you can see, there's now an equal sign right here. And so we're going to learn another way to submit that. So I'm going to Command 3 back out of that. I'm going to submit that file this way by going right here in the command field and typing sub right there. My job is submitted. Okay, so to go back to that screen, I'm going to go to the ST screen, the status screen. So equals sd.st. Takes me to the status screen. Now I've got these old versions of the program, which I really don't want to see, so I'm going to purge them. So I'm going to tab P, and on them I'm going to purge all my old files and press enter. And it says, do you really want to do this for line number 2? Yes, I do. Process, delete it. Okay, line 3, I want to delete it. Oh, yes, I do. Line 4, do I want to delete it? Yes, I do. Okay, and so I always want to go to the last one, because that's the last one I executed. So I'm going to tab down to that. I'm going to ask a question of it. Go inside. Boom. Hey, look, I've got right here, I've got that sys out. I'm going to take a look at that, and I want to S that to show it. And system output, that there's no errors right there. That's a good sign. We'll Command 3. Let's go to Jesse message. Jesse message is usually one of the best places to see what's happening. So S that and go inside. I don't see any error messages. Okay, that's pretty good. So again, to look at where I want to see where that's in, I can either equals 3.4 and browse through it, or I can dslist and go to p2.output. And that'll take me to that screen. Hey, there's p2.output. I'm going to browse this. B to browse, go inside there. And oh, there's a sample one down here. I'm going to B that, browse it. And I have an alphabetic sorting of Harry Potter characters using this right here. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we actually had for that originally. So to go back out of that, I'm going to Command 3, back out, come back, back out, back out. Takes me back to that screen right there. Again, I'm going all the way back out. This is a long time. Not really the best thing, but Command 3 takes me all the way through so I can see exactly where I went. And I go to 3.4 to go in there. Takes me to that. And I said I put it in the PDS data file, so I'm going to browse to that. And inside here, I have a Potter file that I made. And in the Potter file, we'll browse through that, take a look at it. And as you can see, I have a mixed up order of information of different names of people. And that's what we sorted and turned into that file. Now, I don't want to actually keep that file inside my P2 output directory. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my P2 output folder and delete that file because I don't want to keep it. So I'm going to do dslist and then p2.output. And it takes me in there. I'm going to E because I want to edit the file structure. And I want to get rid of this sample file. And to delete it, I just put a D right here. Are you sure you want to delete it? Yeah, I do. Gone. It's out of there. So to verify it's gone, I'm going to do Command 3, back out, E to go back in, and boom. it's not there anymore. Fantastic stuff. So I was able to actually see that, and so we could use some basic structure with that. Now, one of the things we can do is sometimes we have to actually submit files, and one of the problems with that is when we submit files, we don't do the correct submission. So I'm going to go ahead and see what happens when I type in something wrong. Okay, so we had that problem right there. We just did that file we just made, so I'm going to go ahead and do see what that works. So I'm going to go ahead and Command 3 out of here. I'm going to do X. Equals X, excuse me. Takes me out of here. I want to delete my data set, and right here on that process option, and I always want to choose 2 when I'm leaving the screen. And so that's the automatic option to get out of here. And it takes me to my job data set list. That's when I type in TSO space submit. And I want to submit my file that I just did, the one I have already just done and made, but I want to make sure it works again. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to submit my Z number, dot, and then it's in the JCL. And then it's the demo JCL. And press enter. Command TSO not found. Uh-oh. Ready. Okay, no big deal. Invalid dataset name ASDA. Enter this operand. Re-enter this operand. Re-enter this operand. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm stuck on this. I press enter. It's like I type in distf. Dataset distf not found. Oh no. ISPF. Let's go back to the main menu. Dataset ISPF not found. Oh no. What can I do? Now, there's a couple options I can do for this. The first option to get out of this network, this loop of doom, is I go over in this right here in my FKeys in network next to it, and I send interrupt process. And that one will automatically take me out of this. So I'm going to send an interrupt to it, and I press that, click that right there. And command terminate do detention, I'm ready, so I can get back out of it. So yay, I'm out of the loop and I can get back in ISPF if I want. Boom, I'm back in ISPF. Takes a second. Okay, I'm going to exit back out again. So equals X. Get back out of here, I'm at the ready command. This time I'm going to have a different thing to make it so it's going to have a problem with that. So I'm going to type in submit, and then apostrophe, and some stuff, dot stuff, parens, 1, 2, 3, close, enter. Invalid dataset name, enter this operand. And I type this in, keep on typing it in, and I've got the stuff in here. I'm typing stuff in, I'm stuck on this, and it's possible that I'm going to, so submit, Nothing's happening. Okay, I'm going like that. I get to my network connection, I send my interrupt process. Okay, it luckily works. Now, however, if it doesn't work, submit, and then apostrophe zos.public .mtm.jcl parens add parens doink. And I have this command, and it's waiting for something to happen. If I simply just type in this and then zos.public.mtm 2019 .jcl parens and something like that, parens and a semicolon, apostrophe, put that in. I have an invalid dataset operation. Nothing's going through right that. I have to wait a minute. Okay, I'm still on that. I'm going to go to my network, send interrupt process. Usually that'll take care of it, but if it doesn't take care of it, all I have to do is I have to type in the original process right here of just that whole sequence of the parens parens apostrophe, and that will bring me right back and it'll clear the buffer out, and so I can actually then clear past that, and I can get past that right there. So if you get into that loop of doom, if it doesn't work to go to the network and interrupt process, if that doesn't work, then type in the original thing you were supposed to be typing in the first place to make that happen. I didn't break my syntax enough to make that work, so it's not the best one. We have that going right there. Now, when it's time to log off, we want to go ahead and get to the leave the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and type in ISPF to get back out of here. And I want to make sure something's happening so I can do something. Doop doop. And so sub, so ds list, and JCL. I'm going to go to my JCL window, E. And I'm going to submit all of these, sub, sub, sub. And you can submit multiple lines at once. Inner job name character, A. Inner job name character, D. Inner job name character, R. And they committed with a 0. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to log off my machine. So I'm going to do Command 3 to back out. Those both entered. Okay, great. Enter. Command 3 to back out. Command 3 to back out. Now, as you can see right here, if I try and Command 3 to leave, it won't let me leave because, again, when I get to this screen, when it's at my log data set, I need to dispose of that data set with a 2 to enter. I press 2, enter. It deletes my data set, and now I can type in log off, and it will log me off and quit, and we're good to go. Now, that's some of the basic stuff that you can use to work with IBM Master The Mainframe. I'll add another video so we can do some more stuff, a little bit more advanced detail on how to review and edit through that file, but that's where you can do the basics, and have a great day. Thanks.